Most people believe panic is an emotion. It is not. Panic is a psychological surrender. It is the exact moment you unconsciously decide, I no longer believe I can handle what is happening. Panic does not exactly come from fear. Panic comes from belief. The belief that your life is slipping beyond your control. This is why two people can experience the exact same situation. One remains calm, the other falls apart. The situation is identical. The psychology is not. Think about your own life. How many nights have you spent imagining conversations that never happened, problems that never arrived, rejections that never came, disasters that existed only inside your own mind? Yet your heart did not know the difference. It raced, your chest tightened, your thoughts accelerated, sleep abandoned you because your nervous system was reacting not to reality, but to possibility. And I think that is the greatest theft panic commits. It convinces you that imagination is an emergency. So you begin reacting to futures that have not happened. You surrender today's peace to tomorrow's uncertainty. You abandon the present to negotiate with a future that does not even exist yet. The frightening part is most people live this way every single day. They believe they are preparing, but psychologically they are rehearsing fear over and over and over again until anxiety no longer feels like an emotion. It feels like a personality. I've always been like this. I just overthink. I panic easily. I can't help it. Listen carefully. Those are not descriptions. They are identities. And identities are dangerous. Because once you identify with panic, you stop questioning it. You stop challenging it. You stop believing another version of yourself is possible. You begin organizing your life around avoiding discomfort, avoiding difficult conversations, avoiding uncertainty, avoiding risk, avoiding rejection, avoiding failure, until one day your entire life is no longer built around what you desire. It is built around what you fear. And that is how panic quietly becomes your prison. Because panic does not only change your emotions, it changes your decisions. And your decisions become your destiny. Here's a paradox. Everyone wants to control life, to control outcomes, people, the future, their reputation, their success, their relationships. But life has never promised that kind of control. You cannot control whether people understand you. You cannot control whether they stay. You cannot control whether opportunities disappear. You cannot control what tomorrow brings. So people spend their entire lives trying to master the one thing that has never belonged to them: reality. And in doing so, they completely neglect the one thing that has always been theirs: themselves. Perhaps real control was never about commanding the world. Perhaps real control is what remains when the world refuses to obey you. Because anyone can feel powerful when life is unfolding exactly as planned. The promotion arrives. The relationship is healthy. The money is flowing. Your body is healthy. Your family is safe. Your future looks predictable. Calm is easy then. That is not mastery. That is comfort. The real question is, who are you when certainty disappears? Who are you when everything you counted on begins collapsing? Who are you when life stops cooperating? Because that is where your psychology is finally exposed, not during peace, during uncertainty. The person who remains grounded while reality falls apart possesses something far greater than confidence. They possess internal authority. And we are not talking about becoming fearless today. Fear is part of being human. We are talking about something much rarer. The psychology of becoming so internally stable that panic no longer gets to make your decisions. Because the goal is not to control life. The goal is to become the one thing that life cannot shake. Panic is the surrender of internal control. Notice how panic almost never begins with reality. It begins with interpretation. The phone rings unexpectedly. Your mind says something is wrong. Your boss says we need to talk. Your mind finishes the sentence before they ever do. Someone replies more slowly than usual. Your mind starts writing an entire story. Perhaps they're angry. Perhaps they don't love me anymore. Perhaps I've ruined everything. Reality has barely spoken, yet your imagination has already delivered the verdict. That is where panic begins, not in the event, in the meaning you attach to it. Because the human brain cannot react to facts alone, it reacts to what it believes those facts mean. And the frightening thing is, your brain is astonishingly fast at inventing meanings, especially when uncertainty appears. Why? Because uncertainty has always been uncomfortable for the human nervous system. For thousands of years, uncertainty could mean danger. A sound behind the trees, an unfamiliar face, a sudden silence. The brain evolved to predict threats before they arrived. That instinct once kept us alive. Today, it often keeps us anxious because your nervous system still struggles to distinguish between uncertainty and actual danger. Someone hasn't replied for 6 hours, the body reacts. Your investment drops, the body reacts. Your child comes home late, the body reacts. Before you have evidence, your physiology has already chosen fear. And once your body believes danger is present, your thinking changes. You stop asking what is true and begin asking what if? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I lose everything? What if this never gets better? Panic is obsessed with what if because panic cannot tolerate unfinished stories. It would rather believe the worst possible outcome than admit it simply does not know. That is one of the greatest paradoxes of the anxious mind. Certainty feels safer than possibility, even when the certainty is catastrophic. Think about that. How many times have you convinced yourself something terrible was about to happen, only to discover days later nothing happened at all? Yet during those days your body suffered as though the disaster had already arrived. You lost sleep, you lost focus, you lost peace, you lost joy, not because life took them from you, but because fear borrowed them. This is why panic is so deceptive. It convinces you that suffering now will somehow prepare you for suffering later. It does not. It simply makes you suffer twice. Once in your imagination, and again if the event ever actually arrives. The greatest lie panic tells you is if you worry enough, you'll stay in control. Have you noticed that people worry as though worry itself is accomplishing something? As though thinking harder can force reality to obey? As though anxious thoughts are a form of preparation? But worry has never prevented tomorrow. It has only stolen today. Control does not come from rehearsing catastrophe. Control comes from knowing that whatever arrives, you will meet it when it gets here. Not 10 days before, not 10 hours before, not 10,000 thoughts before. Right now, your mind may already be living up inside next week. Meanwhile, your body is still here. breathing, waiting for you to return. Maybe becoming unshakable has very little to do with controlling tomorrow. Maybe it begins the moment you stop abandoning today. There comes a moment in some people's lives where they become tired, not physically, psychologically, tired of negotiating with fear, tired of rehearsing disasters, tired of giving tomorrow permission to steal today. And something changes, not outside of them, inside of them. They stop asking, how do I make sure nothing bad ever happens? And begin asking, who do I become if it does? That question changes a human being, because now your confidence is no longer built upon outcomes, it is built upon character. And character cannot be taken from you by uncertainty. Money can disappear, relationships can end, dreams can fail, plans can collapse. But if your identity is rooted in your ability to meet reality rather than escape it, then life loses its greatest weapon, the ability to frighten you into abandoning yourself. There is one decision that instantly changes your relationship with fear. It is this: whatever happens, I will not betray myself. Think about that. Not I will never fail. Not I will never lose. Not I will never suffer. Those promises are impossible. Life has never made them. Instead, you make yourself one promise. No matter what life does, I refuse to become someone I cannot respect. I refuse to panic my way into poor decisions. I refuse to abandon my values because I feel afraid. I refuse to sacrifice my peace trying to force reality to obey me. Because the moment fear convinces you to betray yourself, fear has already won. Not because of what happened, because of who you became while it was happening. Acceptance is one of the most misunderstood forms of strength. People hear the word acceptance and imagine surrender, giving up, settling, becoming passive. But psychological acceptance means something entirely different. It means stopping your war with reality, because reality has never lost an argument. Not once. Every ounce of suffering that comes from insisting this shouldn't be happening doesn't change the fact that it is. Acceptance does not say, I like this. Acceptance says, this is what exists. Now, who will I be? That question returns power to your hands, because you stop fighting reality and start building yourself. One day, without even realizing it, someone will bring you bad news. And you notice you didn't spiral. A plan will fall apart, and instead of collapsing, you'll adapt. Someone will misunderstand you. You'll explain yourself once, then you let them choose what they wish to believe. An opportunity will disappear. Instead of believing your life is over, you begin looking for the next door. Not because you've become emotionless, but because you've become anchored. And there is a profound difference. Anchored people still feel storms. They simply are no longer carried away by them. And that is what it means to become unshakable. Not a life without chaos, a self that remains steady within it. Maybe the greatest illusion you've ever believed is that control was something the world could give you. It never could. The world has always been uncertain. It always will be. People will change, plans will fail, health can disappear, success can vanish. The future will never ask for your permission before it arrives. So maybe the strongest person is not the one who controls life or controls others. Maybe it is the one who no longer needs to. The one who has stopped mistaking certainty for peace. The one who trusts themselves more than they fear the unknown. Because eventually, every one of us will stand before something we cannot control. The question has never been, will uncertainty come? Because it will. The real question is, when it does, who will be in control? Your fear or you? Because becoming unshakable does not happen the day life becomes predictable. It happens the day your mind stops demanding that it should. And from that moment on, panic stops becoming your identity. It becomes nothing more than a visitor, one you acknowledge, one you understand, but one you never again allow to lead your life. It has been my absolute pleasure, as always, to sit with you. This has been the Human Mirror. Look closely, you are never invisible. I'll see you in the next reflection.